Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 14th episode of isoTalks, organized by the Society of Chemical and Process Engineering students of the Department of Chemical and Process Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya. I am Yohani Abdevikrama from E19 batch, and I will be your host for this evening. Today, we are thrilled to present Unveiling Industrial Frontier, a journey into the heart of industries. A very timely topic as our third year and second year students are about to embark on their industrial training program starting next Monday. And our fourth year students are nearing graduation, ready to start their careers. To formally kick off this session, I would like to invite Mr. Gimaljit, one of the main organizers of isoTalks series, to deliver the welcome speech. Over to you, Mr. Gimal.
You all to the isoTalk webinar series, which is organized by Society of Chemical and Process Engineering students. Before moving, the transition from academia to professional career is a critical phase in the development of any theoretical knowledge and conceptual understanding. There remains a significant gap between university education and the practical realities of higher education. Series is organized to bridge these gaps and academic experts, equipping the students with the knowledge and skills they need to thrive in their careers. For today's session, I warmly welcome Senior Treasurer of all the academic staff, furthermore, Jayakodi, and all my dear colleagues. Once again, I warmly welcome you all to the today's session. Over to you, Hani.
Thank you, Mr. Gimal, for that warm welcome. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today. Engineer Chinthaka Jayakodi is a proud alumnus of our Department of Chemical and Process Engineering from the E10 batch. He holds a BSc Hons in Chemical and Process Engineering and was the president of SCAPES in 2015. He began his career as a health and safety engineer at Lafarge Holcim in Puttalam cement plant. He then worked as a process engineer in process performance and manufacturing excellence at Siam City Cement Lanka Limited for 6 years. Currently, he is the manager of the process and energy department at the Puttalam cement plant of Siam City Cement Lanka Limited. Additionally, he holds a Lean Six Sigma black belt. Engineer Jayakodi has been a very supportive alumnus to our department, assisting in various ways such as arranging field visits to the Puttalam cement plant and helping secure industrial training placements for our undergraduates. Without further ado, please join me in welcome Engineer Chinthaka Jayakodi. Engineer Jayakodi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yohani. Hope I am audible and visible. So let me share my screen. So as Yohani and I cannot remember the name, as you have clearly explained. So let's start the session. So my introduction already done by Yohani. So I am from E10 batch. So I am currently working as the process and energy manager. So before going to the session, in my career, I just want to have some understanding about how the industry, on what industry I am working at, and what kind of industry that is. So Siam City Cement, as you could see in the screen, Siam City Cement Lanka Limited is the largest cement manufacturing facility in Sri Lanka with clinker and cement, where clinker production capacity is around 700 ton and cement production capacity around 1.1 million. So in my role in process and energy, which especially the energy contributes more than 60% of total manufacturing cost, which is around almost 19 billion total manufacturing budget, which is around 12 billion is we are utilizing for energy in terms of thermal and electrical, which comes under this process and energy department. So the engineers working there in my team working to optimize the process. Please note some keywords what I'm talking here. To optimize the process, to reduce the cost and produce maximum, which is our main objective. So as Johan highlighted, this is my career. I started my career in the field of Lafarge Holcim. I joined as a health and safety engineer. That was my first job, and there was an opportunity to go to the process department where I joined, and then after completing some experience and some required assessments, I became a process performance manager, process and image manager. So moving on to the session, we have some ground rules here. So the first thing, mutual respect. So the mutual respect, you have to earn it. So since this is an online session, you can mute your microphone, but when you have something, don't hesitate to ask. So number 2, always ask why, because this session is for you. So always ask questions. So if I know, I'm willing to help you, and if I don't know, let's try to together. Then focus and be mindful. So what I'm talking here is not a pure technical topic. So I want to let you know about how industry works in terms of non-technical aspects, which I think that could be more interesting and more focused in you, because you are already technically competent students. So the most important thing, I would like to ask you some individual questions picked by randomly. So when I ask, please support me, please collaborate me. So then we can make this session successful, right? I think I made it clear. So since Yohani highlighted, there are students who are going to the industry in their first industrial training, and there are some students who are going to the industry as their second training, right? So can I know, we have how many students, Johan, here join?
It's 27, maybe 25.
Okay. 27 students we have. So out of these 27 students, how many first entrants can I know approximately? Can I know how many first entrants to the industrial training?
Probably the ones are joining here, maybe like 10 or 15.
No, I just want a rough value. Almost like 50%.
Yeah.
50% are newly joined. So there are 50% who has completed their first training. So I would like to pick some pick a person randomly, and I would, let's say, E019261 STU Netsara.
Yes.
When I ask you question, it's don't make me take it as offense. Let's try to collaborate. Can I know, Netsara, are you audible? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Netsara, right?
Yes.
Okay. Netsara, so you, Since you are from 19 batch, you have completed your first training, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you let me know what were the challenges you faced in your first training? Where you had your first training?
I was at the spray dried milk factory in Unveiling, the Highland factory.
The Highland factory, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of challenges you faced during your industrial training?
Well, the most challenging part was there was only a one engineer. There had been two engineers in the plant before I went there, where one was working on the trainees, but he had just signed off before I went there. Therefore, the remaining plant engineer couldn't help much for me to with my helps with my works. Therefore, I faced a lot of struggling in my struggle in learning things because I was new to the industry back then. I was only learned for 1 year in the university. So I had to push myself to learn things. That was the main challenge I faced.
Thank you. Thank you, Next. So, which means you had to work on your own. You have to find the knowledge yourself, right? Am I
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, can I pick somebody else? Thank you, Next, sir. Deni Pitiya?
Yes, sir.
So, can please let me know, since you have joined this session, can you please let me know what is your expectation in this session?
Actually, sir, I am final year student, so I had my both training, industrial training experience, and currently I am planning to take interest into the industry after my academics. So, with the experience I had in my both trainings, I have little bit knowledge that how I should work on the industry. So, to improve my knowledge about the industry, and I also had previous session by you when we came to that INSEE field visit. So that's why I here to have more learnings gained by you and have a good experience.
Okay. If we be more specific on what is the today's expectation of you
For today,
in very simple terms. I just want to have
sorry, sir.
brain teaser. So, just want to know in very simple terms, what is your expectation in today's session?
Actually, that I would we had our final training year back then, so that I want to familiarize that transformation from academic career to industry that we are planning to get after nearly 1 month or something.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So you are entering to the industry, right? We call it. There are several industries in Sri Lanka. So what is specifically mean industry? So in the industry, you are when we think about industry, so we always talk about what is industry. So in the industry, there are some companies work together. So for example, like if we take INSEE, it's a cement, and if we take Lanka, it's cement. If we take Tokyo, it's cement. So we all categorize to the cement industry. So I think you already know this. So let me be more specific on this. So there are pharmaceuticals, food and beverage, petroleum, sugar, liquor. These all are industries. So this thing we already know, right? But when you enter to the particular company, you are entering to the particular business, right? So in the industry, there are several businesses. So if we take business, an individual entity that's working on to maximize its profit, we call it's a business. So the things you should understand, you are entering to a business. So in a business, so let's say if you consider INSEE, it's a business. If you consider HEMAS, it's a business. Nestle, it's a business. IOC, business. Palwatta, business. Carson's Cumberbatch or Lion, it's a business. So there are industries. In those industries, there are businesses. So what businesses do? Because these simple terms you need to understand very clearly, because you are entering to a business which is not owned by you, right? So this business is not owned by you. So you are going to be an employee in the business. So when you are going to be an employee in the business, first you have to think, is that your objectives are getting matched with the business objectives? For example, what businesses do, as I mentioned here, these businesses want to maximize their profit, nothing else. So that's why business lasts. So if businesses doesn't making profit maximization, they cannot sustain in the industry. So if they cannot sustain in the industry, you have no choice to work there. So in a business, what businesses do, they want to maximize profit, nothing else. So how they maximize profit, that's the thing you should see. So they try to maximize their profit with some service or product. So if you have in your objectives, when you are working there, if you can see your objectives or what your expectations are aligned with the company value, then you can stay in the business or you can work in that particular company. If not, it is your choice to find out a new company. So that is simply as that. So the first thing in your mind, you are going to a business. So that business belongs to that business owners. Maybe the business owners, maybe it's a small company, it's a proprietorship, or else that business maybe belongs to, let's say, a multinational company. So maybe the owners you can see, but maybe even you haven't never seen owner. Even if you work 30 years in your lifetime, maybe you are not be able to see the owner. So that's how business works. But whatever your objective, let's come to what's your objective. But you have an objective to be a leader or grow your career there. First, you have to see whether this company policies, company values align with your objectives. So that is number one. So as I mentioned, what businesses do, they want to maximize their profit. So what shareholders want? So let's say, imagine you are you have owned a business. So can somebody let me know, in your life, anybody done a business? Is there anybody done a business? Even very small business is fine. I invite a volunteer. Any volunteer? I'm not asking what is your business. I just want to have you some idea. Any volunteer here who has done an even small business? Anybody doing what we call classes? Tuition classes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Lakshit. You are doing, Lakshit, I know you. Okay, you are doing classes. So what is your expectation when you're doing a class or when you're doing a business? What is your main expectation?
So get some maximum profits, sir, by lowering the, I mean, so to get the maximum profits.
Yes, especially you should understand here you are conducting a service. You are giving a service and you are getting your return.
Yes, sir.
Which means, let's say you stay 4 years in the university. You want to, let's say you do a class. Let's say you have done a class for one particular batch. And what is your expectation for the next year? You want to add more tuition classes, or else you want to sustain your business. That's my point here. So what
Yes, sir. Yes.
shareholders want, you want to sustain their business. So sustaining and maximizing profit is two different things. So what if you are a business owner, what they expect, they want to sustain the business while maximizing. So that's what we call it as the growth of the business. So they want to grow the business gradually. So that's what shareholders want. So when they want to grow the business, what they should do when they want to grow the business, they want to hire leaders. So if you consider every company, the leaders are very popular. Leaders are what we call they appear in every magazine or every kind of media. So they appear as a leader. So they direct the company. So what those leaders want, they want the right people. So you are there. Now you are going to the industry. So you have to be the right person. So when you are the right person, let's see how you become the right person. So if you are not the right person, let's see how to be the right person, right? So when in your role, now you are as an industrial trainee. So there are three different circles there. So you can see, let's say people who are entering as industrial trades. So this is your circle, right? So what is the most important thing in your circle right now as industrial training? It's there. It's the attitude. So what is mean by the attitude? Can somebody let me know who have been interviewed by the companies before your training? Can some volunteer support me? Any volunteer who was interviewed by a company before your industrial training? Let's say I nominate a person, Dulaj.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Minhaj. I think you have completed one industrial training, right?
Yeah, I did.
So what was your training location?
Central Industries.
Central Industries. So you heard my question, right? Have you been interviewed by a person before your industrial training?
No, sir, I wasn't interviewed. I just got selected for the position.
Okay. So then can somebody help me? Because I just want you to answer, because then we can collaborate together. Anybody? No one was interviewed.
Excuse me, sir, I was interviewed. Hope I am audible.
Yes, you're audible. What's your name?
Timira.
Timira. Okay, Timira. For which company you have been interviewed?
For answer Lanka.
Answer Lanka. So you were selected to answer Lanka, right?
Yes, sir.
So in your interview, what were the questions you asked?
First they asked to introduce myself to them, like a brief intro. Then they asked some points in my CV, like what are the softwares I can handle, Excel, or whether I can handle the process modeling softwares like Aspen, like those questions, like technical questions.
Okay. So thank you, Timmy. So the point here, when companies interview, when you as an industrial trainee or as a fresh graduate, the most important part they check is, are you a person with the correct attitude? So that is the most important thing that you have to grow in your career. So think like that. So for example, when we have two people, when I interview two people, I see who is the person having a better positive attitude. So when you have the correct attitude, which because since you are all undergraduates or you are fresh graduates who are going to pass out in a reputed university, which means you have enough capability and skills. So that's what all any company or any interview is predicting on. So which means you have some certain set of skills. So here we have a person, but we have to check whether this person can be molded or this person can be grown. So in order to grow, we have to select a person with the correct attitude. So that is the most important part we expect. So when I interview or when all, that's a common for all the companies, as a fresh graduate, what we expecting you is the correct attitude. Okay. So what is mean by attitude? Attitude means like, because you are entering through a competitive environment. So in a competitive environment, there are challenges. So we check whether this person can handle this competitive environment challenging problems. So we are checking, that is one attitude we are checking. At the same time, the industries is not a class of engineers. There are several people with very what we call diverse category. So those category, there are many people that you have to drive them for a common goal. So whether you have the correct attitude to address them or drive them or to direct them for a goal. So that's another attitude what companies looking on you. So maybe in the first case, you are fresh graduate, maybe you are not given directly to a control group of people, but you are given a task to work in a group of people. So in that group of people, whether you are a team player, whether you are a leader, so whether you have a proper leadership attitude and skills, these things companies check in their first interview. For maybe Timira responded me about Ansel. He may be given given questions related to like this. Explain a situation where you have showcase your team playing skills. If you put in your CV as one of your strength as a team player, let me know how you done it. That kind of question, maybe kind of different form or different wording, they might be asked. So in that sense, they check what is your attitude or what kind of a person who you are. So more like 70% of initial screening is for the attitude. So when you let's say you have a chance to go to the industry and you became a person with let's say you had a chance. So then your circle getting larger, getting bigger. So there, what you have to develop. Let's say you have been in. Let's say I came for an interview, so I'm looking for a job. So I uh, I tell you, I want to beat Usain Bolt. So that's my attitude. I am a person. I want to be the best. I want to beat Usain Bolt. So that's what I am telling. So if you are in the panel, you say, okay, you want to beat Usain Bolt. Okay. So have you done any kind of, let's say, running events in your school? You say no. I did. I have not done. But I want to be Usain Bolt. So what kind of attitude like is that? You have attitude, but we can see you don't have enough skills. So attitude without skills are nothing. So you cannot grow your career only with attitude. So then you have to develop your skills that help to improve your attitude. So there are certain skills. So when you develop skills, for example, what are the skills? Maybe you are going to the industry as a fresh graduate, or maybe you are going to the industry as a kind of very new training. So you are going to the industry with certain skills that you know, but based on the skills you know, you have to grow your skills. For example, the most common thing here when people go to the industry, they have skills on very technical calculations and those kind of things. That's a skill you have. But what you want to improve, for example, you are being assigned for a particular project. You have to do this study. So that kind of task or assignment you will be given. So in that sense, then in that case, then you know something and you have to you have given a task based on what you know, but it is not exactly what you know and what you asked to do. So you have to fill that bridge. So filling that bridge, then you have to develop your skills. You have to expand your skills. Let's say another thing, you are given a task to work in a particular team, in a particular project. So what is that? Maybe you are a good team player in your university, in your batch, or maybe you are batch rep, or maybe a coordinator or someone. So you have handled some kind of role. But when you come to the industry, there are people who are very diverse. So there's your supervisor or an engineer, and there are people who is working as laborers, and there are some middle manager laborers, and there are people from the cross-functional departments. You have to get the support from them. So what the skills you want to develop them? You have to develop working with the people. So when you develop the skills related to working with people, you can convince the people, get the support from people for your objective. So those kind of skills you have to grow while when you have when you are progressing in the industry, when you have getting experience. Maybe in the first case, maybe you may be rejected first, or maybe people are not aligning with you, not respecting you. All those things, when you get experience, you start to grow. So the skills matters when you in your intermediate career when you develop. So what are the competencies then? What is mean by competencies? Can any volunteer help me? No problem if it is wrong. What is the competency and what is the difference between competency and skill?
Depth knowledge about the process in the he or she is working.
Thank you, Lakshita. It's yes, that is one competence. So, in a nutshell, skills, when you have set of skills for a common objective, when you have set of skills for a common goal, then when you practice it for a certain period, when you sharpen it, then you have a particular competence. Let's say you play in your managerial role for a while, you work in different projects. So you are working with different people. You master some skills, not only one skill. You master some certain set of skills that lead your role. So those things, for example, leadership competence, managerial competency is a combination of set of skills. So when you become a leader, you are hired for your competence. People see how competent you are in this particular role. So when you develop as a leader in organization, they expecting your competencies to drive their companies, or else in your individual career, you are marketing for the outside your competencies, how competent you are in your career. When interviewer, uh, uh, let's say you are going for a role of a CEO, or when you are going for a role of a senior manager, or you are going for a role of a director, they check how competent you are in a particular subject. For example, when we select, let's say, HR director, people see who are the available person in the industry. So how competent they are and how competent they have performed in the industry, and if he's a good fit, then they are hired. So that is how you become a leader. So growing attitude. This is the most difficult task. Why? You have attitude. So let's say you are not being selected for a particular training or particular position, or if you're a fresh graduate, you have gone for a different interviews, but you are not being selected. So let's say for a moment, let's say your attitude is not fit. So maybe you are not the best fit. So if you have the attitude is not the best, or let's say you are trying to find a job, or you are trying to find a kind of opportunity to grow into the industry, you are not getting the chance, then you can think, okay, I want to rethink of my attitude, or I want to have a reflection of me. So how to mold, or how to we call, correct your attitude. So one thing, always be positive, because here this is we know this engineering task is not a small very, what we call, very smooth task. Being an engineer is a certain path with a lot of challenges. So always embrace whatever ahead you. So when you think in that way, you can develop your attitude. For example, let's say maybe this may be a common for most of the people who when they have completed their first training or second training as well. One thing, the let's say you enter for a company. In company, you have to work with the people, and you can see people are not supportive. People are not supportive. That's a very common thing happening in the industry when you go for a particular job. Let's say as intern, people are not supportive. So in that case, how you address that? Because when people are not supportive, then you have to you are very in a very difficult situation. How I manage this? In that case, you can see being positive means first in 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 your mind, try to analyze the person ahead you. So when you analyze the person ahead you, what is his expectations, and what kind of a role he's playing. So you can see, you can this is I'm telling an example. You can analyze that person. So in that case, let's say you are working in a group of laborers, so you can see how laborers thinking. What's the thinking pattern of the laborers? So then accordingly, you can change yourself for that kind of situation where to manage those kind of people. So we will come to that later. But when you have a very difficult situation, think as independent, try to analyze the situation. So when you analyze the situation, you can be more positive compared to the where you are currently now. The next thing, you have develop a long-term vision, which means you should have a vision. So when you go into the industry, you should have a vision. This is the path I am going to be. So this is the path I am looking. So if this path doesn't match your expectations, or if your training doesn't match your vision, then you are in the wrong place. For example, for let's say my personal experience, I had a vision. I want to start my job in a multinational company because I heard that in my undergraduate, multinational companies have a very good working culture. So when I select my training, I already researched in advance. I researched what are the training places available that I can work in a multinational company. At the same time, even though I have received some other places, when those are not uh, uh, matching my requirement, I reject those places and I went to the place I want to be there. So, which means your proactive uh, work to uh, this kind of situation is must. So, when you have a long-term vision, then you can work on that, because if you have a long-term vision, develop a long-term vision, then you can plan ahead. Always you can plan ahead what things you need. First, these are my priorities, and these are not my priorities, so I will work on my priorities. So number 3, you can set goals. For example, when you start your work in the industry, you are going to a new environment where uh, there are machines, there are people, or there are processes that what you learned in the university, basic scientific principles are being practiced. But when you go to the industry, you can see it's like a whole new world, because it's like whole new thing. But the theory, the process behind is what you have learned in the university. But it's very clear, you don't know that. It's very clear. So set goals. Set goals for a person who is a fresh graduate. Set goals first. You have to learn the company, or you have to learn the process flow within first 2 weeks. So that's your first goal. So you know the path. Then you can make the next goal. You are going to do a project. So that is also achievable. So those kind of achievable goals you have to set. So then you can make your positive mindset, as well as you can improve your attitude. So the fourth thing, this can be done especially in the middle of the training, or else this can be done when you finish your first training. That means you have to have a proper reflection on you. So when you, let's say when you complete your first 2-3 weeks in your training, first reflect on you. Reflect on who you are. So there's a tool called SWOT analysis. Anybody doesn't know this SWOT analysis? Can you let me know? Which means all know SWOT analysis, right? So do you think actually you want to do a SWOT analysis of yourself? Do you actually think, do you want to do a SWOT analysis of yourself? Some people, yes, but some people may not, because some people know in your instincts, they know what are the strengths of you. Some people, they have to somebody critics on you to give them an opinion. These are the strengths of you. So I'm talking this assuming everyone knows SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means there are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when you do a SWOT, you can get the idea who you are and what are the things you have to improve and what are the strengths you have. For example, when you do a SWOT, maybe you can list down more than weaknesses compared to your strengths, something common. So which means you have not dig deep on your strengths. That's a very clear fact. And when you more you find out your weaknesses, what will happen? More you have opportunities. More you have opportunities to work on. At the same time, more you find out your weaknesses, you have to remember, more you have threats. For example, very simple example. Let's say there are 3 trainings. One is fully competent on English, and the other one is not competent on English. So it is not an English class. It's clear, it's not an English class. But when it comes to the presenting someone, when it comes to telling something from someone from person A to B, if you are fluent in English and he want to speak in English, the person who has the competency in English, he's eventually gets selected, or else not selected, he's been prioritized. So what is that? You can think, yes, this is a weakness for me. So what is your threat? You are being overpassed by someone else. So that's your threat. So reflect on you. So you can do this when you complete first 3 weeks in the industry, because you are getting adapted to the industry. So list down what are the spots, what are the weaknesses, or make a SWOT analysis. So then you can get the idea where are the areas you have to improve. At the same time, what are the threats you have? So if you have threats, again, it's a good challenge where you can convert that threats into more opportunities. So let's say there are people who knows simulation. So there are many people who have done simulation, who have the competence in simulation or skill of simulation. So you are also a person who is having the skill of simulation. So what is the threat you have? There are many, but how you can convert that into your strength? You can work in several projects related to that, and you can develop the experience. For one other example, if you are assigned for a project, the project management, there are people who know the project management subject, or else project management is a very basic subject. There are some set of guidelines you have to follow. But when you have the enough experience, then it becomes your strength. So make a SWOT on you. make a reflection of you and try to critically evaluate yourself. Then it will improve your attitude. So because these SWOT analysis are done based on your vision, what you want to be. So then only you identify your weakness. If I have this weakness, then it will impact me or it will challenge me to achieve this particular goal. So then you have to convert that weakness into an opportunity, and you have to see when you have a weakness, it will become a threat for you. For example, if you are not punctual, it will become a threat for you. Why? If you are not punctual, people not have a good say on that's what we call say. So if you are not trustworthy, if you are not make your word, if you are not promise your word, people not make trust on you. So it will become a threat for you because you are going to be an unreliable person. So that's how it works. So that's how you have to develop your attitude, be a person, because this is the most important part and this is the most difficult task, because these things are inherited by you all in most of the cases. So if you critically see yourself, and if you critically see where I am a person that I should develop my attitude, then you have to work on your own in this way. So then skills. Attitude without skills, you are just a dreamer. So if I want to Usain Bolt, if I want to beat Usain Bolt, then if I cannot run, or if I not perform even in a kind of classroom event, in a class level event, so I'm just a dream, because people say me crazy. So when you have the attitude, you have to develop your skill that align with your attitude. So what is the, as I mentioned, what are the skill attributes? Skills are trainable. You can improve your skills by training. So you have to list down what are the skills you have. So maybe you are a good, a competent person in Aspen in your university, and if you not train it, and after like 2-3 years you are in somewhere, you don't have the skill no longer. So you have to train it again. But if you practice it, then it become a improved skills. So if you do it in different projects, if you apply it in different projects, it become a competency on you. So this is how the skills works. So the skills are trainable, they are measurable, and they are task oriented. So you have to identify what are the skills you have. For example, communication is a skill. So if you have proper communication skill, then what happens? If you have proper communication skill, then you can have the you can convince people. If you can communication means not doing a presentation on. If you communicate properly, if you communicate very clearly, if you communicate for a group of people with a very clear vision and objective, you can communicate that, then you can win the trust of the people. You can direct those people. So if you are going to be a leader, then the communication is a must. So you should be able to convince people for a particular goal. So that's the communication. So when you master the communication skill, so it will become a added advantage, or it will directly impact for your competence in the leadership. If you have technical skill, you can work on a technical skill. I mean, let's say you're a very good design engineer, you can do the calculation in you can do some difficult calculations, you can think like think out of the box, and you can apply those you can some deductions you can do, and some, let's say, technical skills related to what we call analytics. So then you can master those skills on your field. So if you master, then it will become it will grow grow the skill, and it will help to increase your proficiency. Let's say you have done some problem solving, so you have idea, yes, I can do this kind of problem solving, so I have some kind of skill or some kind of competency. So when you continuously practice this problem solving, so let's say you have problem solving, so for example, let's say you have some skill on problem solving, you search how can improve my problem solving skills, what are the strategies in problem solving, what kind of strategies I should follow in problem solving, so then you can develop your skills. The other another thing, negotiation. So this negotiation is a very critical, essential skill for a leader and engineer. You are entering to the industry. In most of the cases, let's say for the fresh graduate, you are going to be the interface between the management and the working force. So there are demands from the management that you have to cater. So that's what you are working on. That's where you are working on. And there are demand from your working force. So you have to negotiate, because you have to because you cannot let your workforce relax or just do their work as they wish. You have to direct them. You have to push them to the limits. So that's what management expect from you. At the same time, you cannot push them like hell, to beyond their boundaries or beyond their limits. So you have to know the limits, and you have to push them to the limits. At the same time, you have to negotiate with the management. This is the delivery. These are the measurable output what we can do with this kind of setup. So these kind of negotiation skills you have to develop. So when you develop these skills, you are, let's say you are manager, then your managerial role in your competency will be developed. So that's how it works. So when you have had the chance to work, identify what are the skills you need, because when you are entering to the industry, you have to see what kind of skills, because you are engineers, so you have that brain to understand. Try to understand what kind of skills you want. So I have mentioned only some general skills. Let's say let's discuss further some case studies. So you have to master it. You have to see yourself what kind of skills I need and what kind of thing I should develop. This is not related to doing some courses. So this is about practicing. This is about get involving with the people and get involving with particular projects. So that's how you can get the experience. I am talking about that, not like, let's say in your industrial training you are going to do a course in marketing. That's fine. That's completely fine. Why? If you see it is going to be essential in your career, essential in your job, so then you can start work in the market. So let's say you are going to do let's say lean course or Six Sigma course or some kind of manufacturing excellence efficiency improvement course. So if you doesn't have any kind of experience, I don't recommend. Why? You don't know where to apply that. But if you think being having understanding would help you, that's completely fine. So you have to assess what kind of skills you want in your during the industrial training. That's what you should critically learn and then work on it. So that is area you have to work on, because now you are going for a middle manager or you are going for an intern, that it opens the environment to learn. So during that, try to learn, try to understand what are the skills, and then that skills will help you to grow. Competencies. Competencies, as I mentioned, it's a set of skills that work for a common objective. For example, if you're a leader, let's say if you have a chance to work work with a manager or kind of a superior level leader in your company, try to, as I mentioned in the first case, try to critically analyze himself. What happened? what kind of way he react in this kind of situation, what kind of way he responds for this kind of request, how we negotiate with you, how we negotiate with your people. Try to learn. Then you will see some case studies. Then only you know how to manage some kind of stress situation. Because if I ask you how you manage the stress situation in the company, maybe the situation you are facing is different. So you have to see how your, let's say, your leader or supervisor, how you manage that, and you at the same time you have to see whether he is successful or not, because you have the brain. You have to think, okay, this person has done this in a smart way, or else this person did not do it as I expect. So you have to critically think that. So that's how it works. CapEx project management is an example, because in a what we call CapEx means there's a subject called capital. No, there's an area called capital expenditure. So capital expenditure means a large amount of money that we take from the stakeholder, which is not we have derived from our day-to-day profit making. So we ask them, give us this kind of big money, or this kind of give us this kind of big investment. So if you invest this, we can deliver this kind of profit for you. That's how this capex works. So when shareholders give money to the leaders of the company, so they are bound to complete the task they are given in a particular time frame. So moment the agreed time frame elapse, then what will happen? Then they are expecting the profit that we have been vowed of, or else that the managers are being guaranteed. So that's something. In a project, in a large capex capital is an area that there are many stakeholders, many grievances, many demands. So this stakeholder management is a skill you have to master. Then you can be a competency in project management. So technical competency, I have mentioned the engineering design, data analytics. If you master those, then you can become a technical, you can master your technical competency. So that's how it works. So what is this? You are going to this. What kind of thing we arrangement we call this? Can volunteer somebody volunteer? What is this arrangement we call? Guys, are you with me?
A buffet, sir.
Yes. Thank you. So it's a buffet. So in a buffet, what you do? In a buffet, what you do?
We choose the things what we want.
Yes, you can choose what you want, right? You can choose what you want. So what you have is what you enjoy. So industrial training is like a buffet. So when you go for a good company, or else a diverse company, the buffet is large. When you go for a small company, or else it's a set boundary, then maybe the buffet is less, which means the choices you have, what things you have to enjoy, is less. So when you go to the company, you have to see what is in the buffet. So in the buffet, you have to select what you like, or else what aligns with your vision. But try to taste everything, which means you have to get the experience. So industrial training is like a buffet, because you cannot eat all those things, but what you eat, what satisfy you, which means what you get, what satisfy you, what you have, what you learn, it will help to mold your career. So in the menu, what you have to see in the industrial training. So these are the things in the menu. Maybe these are in a very masterclass manner, or else these are in an elementary. So in the menu, so you have to see, this is one area I am talking about, how people are safe, which means what is the health and safety system in that company. what is the health and safety system. So at the end of the training, you should be able to explain, or else you should be able to have a good understanding what is the system in that company. So how the health and safety is working. So what is the environmental policy of that particular company, how they emit their waste, how they treat their waste, how they deal with the government entities like Central Environmental Authority. So then you can see what is the culture of the company, how people are satisfied, how people react in the environment, in the company environment. So this is the HR. We can see the culture. So how the company do the overall business, what is their business model? Do they directly sell to the retailer, or else do they have dealers that share their products, or what, or else they do only business to business? So what is their business model? You have to learn. Then how companies produce. Obviously, most of the people are going to this section in the production. So how company produce, because I put it as number 5 purposely, because this production is not the only thing in the company. There are many areas we have to see. So always try to see the systems. So when you see the system, you can compare. So I recommend you, once you finish your training, in your scales, arrange a session that select a few participants in your among colleagues, describe them, ask them to describe how these systems work in each individual company in their experience. So try to share it. So then you can have idea. There are different environments in different organizations. So try to learn how the production is done. So it's obviously you are going to learn it. And how company continuously produce without breakdown, which means what is the maintenance strategy, how important the maintenance strategy. If this production line stops, what is their impact, how they, since if it is a high impact, how the company has invested to sustain its continuous production line. So these things we have to learn. So then how company ensure delivers the correct product. So if you are in a food environment, so the margin of error is very minimal. It's zero, we can say. So how their quality assurance system work. So try to all this, because try to learn the system, because maybe learning only the production line may not be sufficient to complete your training. Try to learn all those systems. For example, here, if I go to back health and safety, how many hazards they have report, what is their safety culture, how many injuries, lost time injuries they report. So this you can get the idea how the health and safety culture in the organization. So any environmental complaints, how the environmental parameters or the limits the company has defined, and what are the legal limits, you can check, which means you can see how company react. So in the culture, how people are satisfied, what kind of tools HR used to see how people are satisfied, or how people are getting engaged, or how people are productive, what kind of tools they use, or whether they use any kind of work studies kind of things, you can learn. So then how company do the business, that's the business model you want to know. And the production, whether are they practice lean, or are they practice what you call WIS, or are they do some kind of Kaizen things. Try to learn the production. So what is the maintenance strategy, which means there are strategies we call preventive maintenance, there are strategies called corrective maintenance, there are strategies called shutdown plan. So what is that? These things you have to learn. So because what I am telling you is a guideline. So what you are going to the industry you are working on, industry you are going to start your training in the next week, all these 7 pillars are there, and they are unique to that particular organization. So try to make a plan to learn these aspects. So this will help you when you work in different environment, because we cannot assure what you are having the training may be your destination for the job. People can never guarantee that. So which means when you know these stuff, when you go from somewhere else, you know how systems are working, how to apply the systems. So then you know what are the strengths and weaknesses. Let's say you have worked in a company which is having a very high standard health and safety, and you start a job in somewhere with lower standard. So you can work on to improve that, or else the vice versa. I mean, when you are in a company that you work in a company that has a lower health and safety system, and when you work in a high health and safety system, so you can improve your knowledge that how these areas are affected in that particular organization. That's for your learning, because you cannot go back and correct those organizations, but that is for your learning. These kind of things also there, these kind of areas where very low applicability in system are there. So that's what you can learn. So challenges, this is what I asked in the first place. What kind of challenges a person who is a fresh graduate is experiencing? So number one, you don't know the plan for sure, because this is the first time you are going to plan. So you don't know the plan. So start with a mass flow. Start to learn mass flow. Start from the customer end. So see what is the customer end. Start drawing the mass flow yourself. Get the support from the PID, and if there's a flow sheet, ask for the flow sheet. Then you have to know what are the critical equipments in the plant. So these equipments are very critical. Then you have to prioritize, because as I mentioned, it's a buffet. You don't have enough time. You have only like 3 months, but you have to act quickly. So prioritize. Identify what are the critical equipments, and within like 2-3 weeks, you should be able to complete at that. You can describe the basics in each critical equipment of their operation. So this is something you should do in your first case. So because you can learn about process even in your last day. So if you are learning the process in your last day, you are not giving any value to the company. So company don't care whether you learn it or not, but it's a value for you, but there's no mutual benefit. So try to learn the company or the operation within first 3 weeks with a rigorous intent. Otherwise, you cannot complete your training in a proper successful manner. Then identify people. Try to, because you don't know people, identify people. First, know your supervisor. Try to understand your supervisor. What is his KPIs, key performance indicators, or his targets, his objectives? This is what your supervisor expect from you. Try to learn that. So then there are people very diverse environment, each segment. So they are being in the industry more than 5 years for most of the cases. So you have to get the first step from you. So be proactive, introduce yourself. So try to learn from them. Try to start a conversation. Then you can get some information from them. Maybe some information are not relevant. Some are relevant. So which means you have to filter those. But when you're keeping a good company with them, you are maintaining good communication with them. Maybe you have to work on like that. So always win the trust. So if you win the trust of the people, then you can convince the people, because you are given a project, you have to work. You can go to the maintenance department as a fresh engineer, and you have to get the support. So if they don't trust you, you cannot convince them. So when you have a very minimal opportunity to win their trust, grab them. So you have to convince the people to win their trust. So at the same time, don't forget you are an engineer. You are a competent person of your technical skills. You know how to do the mathematics. You know how to you are the master in chemical engineering in that uh, uh, in that environment. So let them know what you know. So let's say if you have a chance to do some kind of analysis, Take the first your first step, take it, do it, and show them this is who you are. So this is not like you have to invent something. When you continuously work like that, then people starting to see your positive attitude. So then you are being highlighted. This guy has some potential. So we can, this guy has some potential that he can mold, or else he's a character that can contribute for the positive direction of the organization. So then you will be highlighted. So that's how you have, then you will get a proper feedback. So that's how you develop. So try to do like that. Then they don't know you. Create a first impression. Always when we make the people, create a impactful positive impression. When you are training, in your first 2-3 weeks, show them who you are. Try to do some very small improvement, or try to do some very small thing that impact to the organization, and to try to get highlight. So then you have the attention. Then you can make the bridge between your supervisor or your stakeholders in your company. As I mentioned, basic competencies. For example, you are given a task, to very small task. Do this by tomorrow. So if you assign a task in tomorrow, make it as a priority and try to complete your first task as agreed. So if you do not complete your first task as agreed, so you are going to lose the first basic impression on it. So the other thing, no option to sign, which means you are completing 3 months. Let's say you were there like 2 months, and in the last month, still you are in the learning curve, or else still you are doing the day-to-day task you have done. If it is like that, you have to be proactive. Try to find a specific topic. Try to discuss with your supervisor. If supervisor is not pushing on you, talk to him. Give me a project that I can work on in this time frame. So try to grab the attention from. Try to get the support and complete the task. So that is how you complete your training. Otherwise, people may not go following you, or else people may not fully committed on you, because you are also a part of that department, or that section. So it is your choice. It is your chance. So you have to be proactive. Find a small project, small improvement project. Use what you know. So use what your existing skills. So that will sharpen your skill. So that is how overcome the challenges. So that's the session for me today. So this is the forum that you can ask any questions if I want to elaborate furthermore. So any questions further?
Thank you so much, Engineer Jayakodi, for the enlightening presentation. We will now move on to the Q&A session. You can unmute yourself and ask questions, or type your questions in the chat box, and I will read them out for Engineer Jayakodi to answer.
Good evening all. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
So my question is about in the recruitment processes, the first step is the CV. So can you give us some tips on the CVs, how to be selected on that step? Like few tips to improve our CVs, because you are now in management level, and I think you are involving in the recruitment processes. So a few tips will be help us to improve our CVs and get selected to the jobs we apply.
Yes. The first thing, what the philosophy in selecting a person is whether you are the best fit for the organization. So that's the philosophy. So always when you select, let's say, a particular job role, always see the job description. So when you see the job description, some are common, but some are specific. So try to check the specific requirement that the company or that the hired person is looking for. So then customize your CV based on the requirement. So that's the first thing, because I am not I am not a much competent on HR. This is the format you are looking for. So the first thing you have to know in that, because when I do the screening, that's what we do, and I know that this is what most people do when we selecting a technical person. First, customize your CV according to the requirement. So there's a job description. If you have a particular competencies or skills that match the that particular job role, first customize your CV. Then there are I have received a CV from a person that he has this example. He has not mentioned he's a university student. This is some previous batches. I cannot exactly remember the entity, but he has this is for the undergraduate selection, and he has not mentioned he is an undergraduate. So this is very unethical and unprofessional. So the first thing, number one, make your CV customized. Then number two, when we see in the CV, usually we are not recommending you to make a deep CV like 4 pages, but as you're fresh graduate, try to market yourself in a CV, which means in a brief, in a short, try to express your all the skills or all the things you can shine. So that's another, which means when we go through the CV, so we can see you are this kind of a person. So it should reflect on your CV, because if you just give us a CV, let's say this is your basic detail, this is an engineer, this is from blah blah blah. We don't know whether you are special or not. So try to impress with inclusion. So it is your skill to compile those in a, let's say, 2-page CV. So if it is because if it is 1-page CV is specifically required, so or else unless 1-page CV is specifically required, make a 2-page CV, make a good your professional photo, not like your Facebook photo, make a professional photo. So give the impression that the person who is hiring you are a capable character and you are trying to impress the person. So that's it. You want anything more?
I think I got my
It's wrong.
yeah.
Yes.
I think I got the answer. Thank you very much.
And Suranga, just one more point. I could not highlight at that point. Are you making a cover letters?
For now, if the job advertisement asks for a cover letter, I prepare. Otherwise, if they ask to email the CV, then I make the email as my cover letter and include that stuff.
Okay. So when you do the cover letter, is that been reviewed by someone?
Yeah, usually I ask my brother to review it and
Yes.
see.
So another tip, make a proper cover letter. It should not be a very long cover letter, as you are currently doing it correctly. If they don't ask for a cover letter, put it in the email body. At the same time, make it smart. So better you review this by some professional, or else let's say a person in the industry, or else a person related to HR in the industry. So try to review from him a cover letter. And the cover letter also you have to customize according to the the job requirement. So when the person who is hiring see your email in the first glance, then he should be able to see this person has applied for this job, highlighting he is the best fit for that particular job. So that's a necessity, right?
Thank you, sir. I have another small question. Like in the first or second slide in your profile, there was some specification like performance engineering or something. Can you explain what is it? Is it like a professional qualification or something?
It's a professional qualification, but it is unique to the cement industry. So that's something unique, which means there's kind of a specific assignment we have to perform. So once we pass that, so it's like a charter in engineering. So this is related to process engineering part, something specific to the cement.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay. Can you know? Can I know your name?
Gautam, could you provide some detailed guidance on how to adapt to different company cultures? Because this is my first experience in training in industries.
Yes.
As a trainee.
Yes. As I highlighted before also. So you don't know the company. So first, when you go for a production, or especially you are going for a manufacturing sector, so try to learn the company first, which means since you are going to the production line, try to learn the mass flow in first 3 weeks. Then in parallelly, try to learn the people, know your supervisor. What is your expectation and the KPIs, key performance indicators or targets of it. So then you know what kind of department or what in your department, what they do in the company. Simply as that. So then you can anticipate yourself. This is the kind of task. So if the supervisor given you some specific task or guideline, that's a bonus for you. But if you don't, then you have to find out yourself. Which means when you know about the company or else know the objectives of your team, then you can start work on. You can discuss with them. These are the tasks I am going to do. So you can start. So this is how you have to take the first step. I'm giving a tip related to taking the first step. So then that will open for you. The many paths will open for you. So you have to select one path, or else you have to work on different paths that open for you. That's entirely up to you. You want more specific, Gautam?
No, sir, thank you. I got that.
Sir, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Sir, what is your idea advice for a undergraduate if he willing to start a business maybe for export market after the graduation, like what kind of skills and attitudes they need, if you have any ideas?
Yes. So this is so you are, I mean, if a person like going to that kind of area, we call he is as an entrepreneur, not a businessman. He's an entrepreneur because people going to work under that particular person. So in that case, you are immediately switching to the leadership role, or else you are immediately switching to the managerial role. There are big tasks ahead because in a company there are marketing, there are finance, there are production, and there are supply chain. So all these areas you have to master. So because by instincts you have some kind of certain skills. So like if your objective is like that, make the SWOT analysis of you. So you know where in your business what are the especially related to business. So what is the strength, weaknesses, challenges, and opportunities related to business, and do the value proposition. So if you're going to export market, some you are going to make a product, see, because you are going to a already existing business environment. You are entering to the already existing business environment. So you have to think how you can be a kind of a highlight within that competitive environment. So then you have to see what is your value creation, which means maybe your product is more quality, maybe your product is more unique, maybe your product is the cheapest, or else your product has the consistency. Make the value proposition. Then try to make the flow. At the same time, if you are try to work as an entrepreneur, make the good connections, because you have to, when you go to the industry, you have to have connections, which means you know how the people who buy, who people who sell, the transporters, the logistics, everything you have to work on. So which means, in a nutshell, make your reflect on your organization, or else reflect on your business, what are the strengths of your area, and what the things you know, and what are the areas, and what are the competitors, and see the value proposition, how you create the value in the business, and then make the good networking, and then when you start a business, your utmost dedication and some what we call maybe it is not growing as you expected. You have to bear that, you have to sustain it, and you have to work on the weaknesses and keep on working. Then you will start to on the success track. Lakshita, you want more, any kind of specific thing you are going to ask in your question, because your question is very open ended.
Yes, sir. I got the answer.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, I have selectively chosen my path in all my projects, internships, and research as a food engineering. So, unfortunately, I couldn't face any interviews during my internships. First time I was placed by ITCGU, and this time I was selected based on my CV. So can you give me some general tips for someone who has specifically chosen a specific path if for an interview?
Yes, I am giving you a real life example of me. I went to my first training in a company, and what happened? I was asked for an interview, which I never faced before. So the interview was not went quite well. So this is the first time ever I went for an interview, because we were not fully trained on the interview. So what happened then? When I completed my training, and all the trainings are completed, and then we had this job fair coming in the university. So then what I did, so you have to search on there are already enough material to how to face an interview. So there are some general questions, there are some the questions we call situational based questions. So the general questions, that's already fine. You have to be prepared on situational based questions. There are questions called there's a method called STAR method. You can Google what's the situation you face, what are the tasks you are assigned to do, then what are the actions you did, and what are the results. So very simple. This is called the STAR method. So try to train yourself, or when you have some opportunity, even though you are not interested in that particular opportunity, try to go for the interview for the experience. This is what I did. So there are companies I was targeting on. I want to have the job in this company. So before going to that interview, I went to some smaller companies, even though I have no interest of getting the job on that company. I went there for improve my practice. So this is very simple example. So like that, but because because when you go for when you're working as a fresh graduate, when you go for an interview, they never ask kind of very unorthodox questions. They always ask common questions. So it's kind of a simple theory. So you have to research what kind of questions they are going to ask, what kind of way, as I mentioned you, what kind of attitude they are checking on you, and your opportunity is to shine in the situational based questions. So how competent or how fluent or how skillful you in elaborating the situational based questions, you have more marks. So try to follow that. For example, if you say in your CV you have a strength of team player, so I will ask you what give me a situation where you work it as a team player, or else it can present you in some kind of different wordings or kind of rhetorical manner, but still they ask the same question. So these specific interviews, that's what I was talking about, the situational based questions, you have to be more fluent on that. So if you have a more situational based question, if you can ask the more situational based questions, then you have higher chance to get the job. Not
So,
yes, Nathan.
what about handling the working stress in the industry? Because in the university, if we are irresponsible, it will cause only our career. But in the industry, I think it's different. So, can you give me an overview about that?
Yes, the main difference in the university, you are working for yourself. So whatever the stress you feel, that is for you, because you, the more you take the stress and more you work on yourself, then you have more qualifications or you update more your career in the university. But in the industry, as I mentioned earlier, you are working for an employer. So the stress the stress you feel, that is for complete the task on a stipulated time, optimizing the cost, that is still on maximizing the profit. So the stress is more severe in the industry. Why? Because all deals with money. Because when you deals with money, it's serious. So you have to be smart enough to handle the stress. So you have to be smart enough to manage the stress, manage your task, to make the less stress. So that's your duty.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any other questions? So if there are
Yohani, sorry.
Yes,
Can I come in just to not for a question, but I just it's Nadish here, Mr. Chinthaka. I'm not sure that we have met at some point. I'm not sure. So I'm currently attached to the department and also leading scapes for third consecutive years now. So I was listening. I was traveling, but I was listening from the beginning. And the latter part, of course, I could listen. So thank you, Chinthaka, Mr. Chinthaka, for your insightful talk. Actually, it was really important since students are getting ready to get into their industrial training. But for some reason, only limited numbers have been appeared. Maybe this happened with very short notice. I guess that was this isotope talk series. This particular one quickly they arrange it. I think that was one reason. So actually, it would be really useful if everyone attended this course, because I heard that you explained the importance of skill set. Even myself, always emphasizing at the end of the day what matters is the skill set. And also apart from that, so I heard that you were a past Scapes president. So actually, we need some support from our alumni. And I don't know whether you are following our social media LinkedIn profile and the Facebook and the YouTube. So then if you follow, you might have seen that we are trying our best to do something always. I mean, with limited facilities. So our next one of the key goal is to establish our alumni society or the alumni, but in a very streamlined manner. So then we can, I know that our students, they are doing their best, I mean, with all the limited facilities and the other, the crisis around us. But I mean, about the department better than me. Always we are having a very healthy and supportive environment within the department. So actually, I invite you to support us, especially, setting up the alumni association. That would be a really great help for the department. So the students, the past students like you who are in a higher position right now, can, I'm not directly asking fund. It's not asking fund. I mean, we need some setup right now. We need a setup. So then collectively, anybody who is willing to support, so they can support. Thank you very much again, Mr. Chinthaka, for your time. I hope I listened to our questions from our students too. I'm pretty happy to hear at least that the general trend is like when there is a session, students really in generally they are a bit silent. I'm pretty happy students asked a lot of questions and they got really good, I mean, the insightful clarification from you. Is a good trend. Right. Thank you. That's the comment that I wanted to make. Thanks again, and thanks to Scapes too. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nadik sir, for that great insights. And thank you, Engineer Jayakodi, for answering those questions and sharing your expertise with us. It has been an incredibly informative session. And for those who have missed any of our previous sessions, recordings of the past 13 episodes of the isoTalks scene, they are available on our official YouTube channel of the Society of Chemical and Process Engineering students. We will share the link to the 13th episode and the YouTube channel to the Zoom chat. Please take a look at them when you have time. And to conclude, I would like to invite Ms. Chanali Lerage, the Joint Secretary of Scapes, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Ms. Chanali.
Thank you, Hani. So thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks today as the 14th session of isoTalks series comes to a grand end. On behalf of the Society of Chemical and Process Engineering students, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Engineer Chinthaka Jayakodi, for taking time out of his busy schedule to share these priceless thoughts on how the theoretical knowledge and conceptual understandings are applied in real-life situations. It was truly motivating to hear from one of our very own graduates. I want to thank Professor Parakram Karunaratna, the head of department, for his guidance, leadership, and encouragement. And my heartfelt gratitude goes to Professor Nadesh Adasuriya, the senior treasurer of the Society of Chemical and Process Engineering students, for directing us through every event. Sir, you truly motivate us to do better. I would like to thank our academic staff who always guides and encourages us. We sincerely appreciate your consistent support. Also, I would like to thank all the committee members and the students of our department for their time and effort. It was everyone's dedication that made this event a success. Last but not least, I should express my heartfelt appreciation to all the participants for engaging in this event. With that, I would like to conclude my speech by thanking all of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chanali, for the vote of thanks. As we wrap up today's session, I would like to thank everyone for joining us. A special thanks to you, Mr. Chinthaka Jayakodi, for his valuable time and insights. Hope you found this session as engaging and informative as we did. Please stay tuned for another isoTalks. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.
Sure.